on here. Who will be the first to leave a comment? Got my notes. My cool Pink Floyd shirt on. Hello, hello. It is exactly 5 o'clock Pacific time here in the United States of America. Are you out there, anybody? I'm waiting for the word to see that somebody is in there. Leave a little like. Hit the like button or the thumbs up button if you're watching. Oh, I see one. Miss Chris, hello from New Hampshire. Hello. How's it going, Reverend AMZ? You know, it's weird. I always forget who people are, so you might want to say your first name. I know Chris is Chris, but AMZ, who's that, man? Is that Drew? Nick Pentazzi. Hey, Mr. Mess. What's up, Nick? Cheryl Werner's in the house. What's up, Cheryl? Okay, Alan. Cool. Alan V. Hey, hey, Cassie from Mackinac, Illinois. Check out my Floyd shirt, man. Got this from my friend Steve Westkirchen, gave it to me the other day. Hey, hey, hey. So thanks for being here, you guys. It's freezing. I had to unplug my freaking space heater so I could plug this light in, man. So where's everybody at? I know we got New Hampshire in the house. We have Illinois in the house. Cheryl is in Florida. I know that. Where are you at, Alan? Whoops, I kicked my camera. How have I been? I've been okay, man. I've been moving a lot and stuff. And, oh, Cheryl's in Arizona. My bad. Sun City. Sun City. Massachusetts is where Nick's at. Glenn Taylor in the house. Hey, and a great KC evening to you. Kansas City. Yeah, man. Missouri. Okay. Awesome. Thanks for being here, you guys. It's been a while since I had a live with anyone. Ken, what's up, man? Minneapolis. All over the place tonight. Ken Ciderpunk. 11 people. Jungkook Cookie. Nah. What's up, Jungkook Cookie? Where you at, man? Jungkook. It's funny reading these little words on the bottom of a screen. At home. I just meant what state or country or city or province or planet. And don't say Uranus. I look bedraggled. I feel bedraggled. Thank you. What does bedraggled mean? Venus. Ah, cool. I like that song, Venus by the Shocking Blue. Cheryl. Oh, come on. Come on, Eileen. Anyway, 17 people in the house. That's cool. Thanks for coming, man. I'm the dude that told you to check out the government auctions for cars. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, man. I got a car. I actually got a car. And the first guy that I went to had a really awesome car that he was selling for his mother. And now he's become a friend of mine. I've hung out with him twice and got a great deal, great price. Driving a Hyundai Sonata. English or Spanish? I speak English. So 20 people in the house, man. What are you guys up to tonight? Just chilling? San Francisco. What's up? Alabaster Smidge. I love these names. Haha. Jungkook Cookie keeps saying, nah. Okay. 15 people in the house. Yeah, man. I'm just hanging out here in Gold Hill, Oregon, where I've relocated about a month ago, and it's rained just about every single freaking day since I've been here. And before I was in a suburban setting, right, where I could walk outside and there's sidewalks and, you know, places to walk and to avoid mud. But now we're living on a farm kind of setting, like very rural in the mountains, right by a river, and it's a whole different ball game, which we love. But with that comes mud, lots of mud, like taking my dog out, you know, 3-4 times a day. Every time it's like, now I got this dog with muddy feet. You know, there's mud all over the place, leaves getting tracked in. It's a whole different scenario. And a lot of our stuff is in a shed outside because when we moved in, it was just torrential rain. And I haven't had a chance to bring most of that stuff in. And this room is a complete mess, man. I was going to show you guys some of the new studio, but now I got a bunch of stuff stored in here because we're putting down baseboards, blah, blah, blah. So basically we're renovating this house and as we're moving into it, and we are moved in, but it's like there's stuff everywhere. Going to Florida on a train. Anyway, so yeah, man, got these new t-shirts that I made. They're Bloody F Mess t-shirts. And thank you to all the people that ordered them. I did make the first order for, I think, 75 shirts. And the artist that did the artwork for the shirts is Andrew Goldfarb, aka the Slow Poisoner. He's on Facebook. He does the art at great rates. He's fantastic. He's done a lot of flyers for me in the past. Andrew Goldfarb, can't say enough good things about him. And the people that I'm using to make my t-shirts are the same company that I've gone with for at least a decade and a half, located in West Peoria, Illinois. I got to give a shout out for sure to Jam Screen Printing, jamscreenprinting.com. If you're in a band or if you're someone that needs kick-ass t-shirts, Jam Screen Printing has not only quality shirts and different choices of different shirts you can get and all the colors you might want, but they do great turnaround, great pricing, great people to work with. Jamscreenprinting.com at 1428 Pearson Avenue in West Peoria, right off of Farmington Road in Peoria, and on Facebook under Peoria Jams for your best t-shirts. And those bad boys are being ordered. I should have them in a couple of weeks. So I did send a bunch of you messages just maybe a half an hour ago, letting you know how you can pay for the shirts because I went ahead and ordered them. Most musicians, they'll do like pre-orders. Me, I just get them. I trust my peeps, and I just get a list going on social media. People tell me what size they want. I order them. I pay for them up front, and I trust that, you know, hopefully at least 3/4 of the people will pay back soon because I'm broke. That would be great, man. But yeah, the t-shirts are going to be out for real, seriously, though, in about 2 weeks or so. So thanks to Jam Screen Printing. Thanks to Andrew Goldfarb. And I'm going to put an image up of those shirts soon. And if anyone wants to order for round 2, let me know. Also still have copies of the Dark Days Unfazed album on vinyl and CD. Not many at all, but I have some left if you guys are interested. It's an album I did with collaborations with members of the Germs, of the Plasmatics, Fang, Jordan Longmire, just a lot of really cool names. It's a good album. It's also available on all digital streaming platforms on Punk Media. Shout out to Punk Media and my buddy Mark. He put out a lot of good stuff from Tiny Tim and Gigi Allen and all kinds of trippy artists. Mr. Goodfoot's in the house. What's the design? It's a picture of me. It's like a cartoon picture that Andrew Goldfarb did. That's what he specializes in, is real trippy art, very distinctive designs that he does. And it's like a cartoon photo of me and all these multicolors singing, leather jacket on, purple hair because I'm getting ready to do my hair purple again. And getting ready to play some gigs in the Midwest, man, in March. So we're doing some promotion and the shirts are pretty cool. The images are pretty cool. I got to get that put up on social media here. Mr. Goodfoot in Peoria, Illinois. Good to have you here, bro. Glenn Taylor, guess I should have waited to order. Save me a tea. Yeah, no problem. We're going to do a round 2, man, and I'll put that out there on YouTube when I'm ready to do that, Glenn, and then you can order one if you wish, and I appreciate that very much. Hey, man, I got to pay rent, you know, so I got to think a couple months ahead all the time. And a rocker's got to hustle, man. Nick says my record is fantastic. I spin it at least twice a week. It earned a spot in the crate right next to my turntable. Awesome. Thank you, man. Dark Days Unfazed. I've got a stack of them right here. Not many, but I've got some left. Boom. And it's got great artwork by Sam Dantone. Awesome artist up in Portland. And of course on the back, it tells you what songs and who the collaboration's with. And they're all hand numbered. These are all hand numbered and hand signed. And we only did 200 of them, man, because not a lot of people are buying vinyl or CDs these days. Most people are would prefer to go digital. And I get it. It's easier. But here's the vinyl. Thanks to Ragged Records in Iowa and Fanatic Records for putting it out on vinyl. Of course, Fanatic Records put it out on CD, Ponk Media on digital streaming, and it's being released on Bird Eater Entertainment soon on cassette tape. Mr. Goodfoot, good to see you, man. What's been happening with everybody? Anything exciting? Anyone got anything pretty cool happening that's out of the ordinary? If so, post it. Let's talk about what you're doing. I've just been constantly getting this place put together that we moved into, and probably the hardest move of my life. Didn't realize how much stuff I had acquired in the last 4 years since we lost all of our stuff in that 2020 Alameda fire. Dude, 4 or 5 years is a long time to acquire more stuff, and I'm just like, holy, you know what? Yeah, I agree, Cheryl. I'm a vinyl guy, and digital is much better than just having it. I'm sorry, vinyl is better than just having it digital. I like to hold it in my hand, man. Physical copies of stuff, you know. Thanks to all 16 of the people I believe that are in here. I think that's what that means at the top. But that's cool, man. Nothing too exciting. I was going to show you guys this room. I can show you like parts of it, but like I say, it's still being put together. But this is like what part of the new music room is looking like, at least on that side. And it goes over to there. But, you know, I've got stuff over here too. Let's see, can we see it? Let's see if we can get to the other side. These cool pillows. My white little heart. Yeah, I can't show you the other side. There's another side with a Ramones banner hanging up too, but whatever. Yeah, down the road I'll have to show you guys when it's all put together. Where's Mr. Bill? He's right here. Woohoo! Oh, hello, Mr. Sluggo. Anyway, yeah, there's Mr. Bill. That was quick, right? Yeah, Cheryl. Purple hair is what I like to have, but the thing is the stuff wears off in about 3 months, and then I get lazy and let it go back to white. So yeah, got to put some purple on there, man. Mr. Goodfoot says, I'm retired. Got a lot of groovy stuff jamming, movies. My dog, Vinny. Woohoo, nice, man. Mr. Bill brings back memories. You know, who didn't at my age sit around and watch Saturday Night Live every single Saturday night? I mean, it was something that America did back in the mid 70s. I remember when that show started, man, it was a huge hit, and like everyone would sit around and watch Saturday Night Live, man. And of course, Mr. Bill was awesome. I think he was on Saturday Night Live. Am I correct? Yeah. Yeah, he was. Happy Thanksgiving early. Well, thank you, man. We're going to head up to Portland on Wednesday for like a week. So yeah, we're going to head out of Southern Oregon for a while, even though it's all rainy up there, but we have family up there and friends up there. So we're going to head up to Portland for a few days, maybe a week or so. Yeah, you know, bro, I think everyone's dirt poor right now. It's just one of those times, man. The economy sucks. What are you going to do? You just have to go inward instead of outward a lot more often, I guess, you know. Instead of buying stuff, just utilize the stuff we already have, I guess, man. I don't know. I never stopped buying physical media, Nick says. He's been collecting records for over 30 years. They instantly take you back to where you were, who you were with, and what you were doing at the time. That's true. Music does in general. Anytime I hear a song from a certain genre or like year, it's like, oh my gosh, I remember exactly what I was doing at that particular time. That's for sure. I got a ton of stories too, man. I don't know what I've been putting off doing YouTube stories for. I guess just because the energy level, it's like, geez, man, moving and putting stuff together. But I got this good story I'm going to put up of recording with the band Impetigo. Thanks to my friend Kramer for asking me about that. He's like, you did some vocals, guest work on the album by Impetigo, Ultimo Mondo Cannibale. That album came out, I believe, on Wild Rags Records. What year was that, man? It must have been 89 or 90. And I did some backing vocals on that album for Impetigo, and I did a spoken word piece that was particularly intense. And that came out, and it's been reissued in a big box set because all their stuff was really accepted into a huge cult following, especially in like Brazil and places like that, like South America. Yeah, Impetigo is pretty popular. So I'm doing a story about me and my recording with Impetigo in the studio. So yeah, man, I've been spinning some vinyl. I got my turntable over here on in the corner. I've been playing a lot of vinyl. Just picked up something from Johnny Thunders, the K Sarah Sarah album on vinyl. It's one I've never had on vinyl before. I always thought So Alone was so good, but when you hear that stuff that was only released like over in England, it's like, wow, we missed out on a lot of great records. Johnny Thunders, K Sarah Sarah. I highly recommend that, man, on even probably on YouTube. Wild Rags was my local record store. Now, were they connected to the record label or was that just a different same name? Says Christopher Valdez. What's up, Chris? Mr. Sinister Minister's in the house. Mike Neroth from Wentzville, Missouri, checking in. What's up, brudda? He votes for physical media and hard copies all the way. Yep. Vinyl is the only way, but we do CDs and stuff too. But I've noticed that the sales have vastly declined. When I first started putting vinyl out back in the 80s, 90s, you could sell, 1,000, 2,000 records like that. It was like not that hard. Now it's like you do a couple hundred and you're only going to get the diehards that really are going to pay for the vinyl. And it also costs a hell of a lot to make vinyl these days. So a lot of bands are doing these smaller print runs of 100, 200, 500, that kind of thing. What kind of turntable would I recommend? Believe it or not, I've always had this huge music collection, but I've always had the crappiest stereos. I've got one of these Victrolas, man. It's like an all-in-one unit. Can you see it? Yeah, see that? See this thing right there? Yeah, this is like a Victrola. You lift it up, and the lid, there's the turntable. It's got a cassette player on the side. It's got CD, AM, FM radio. It's everything a rocker needs for real. But check it out, man. It's a Floyd shirt, cool. Thank you to Steve Westkirchen. He gave me a bunch of really cool t-shirts the other day, all vintage and good ones. And what a rocker. So yeah, I can't really recommend a turntable because I really don't know, man. But I used to go with like Pioneer back in the day. These days, I do have another turntable that's a good quality one, but I don't have it hooked up yet. Crosby's are nice. Crosby turntables. Oh, okay. Mr. Goodfoot chiming in. Yeah, man. My buddy moved to France and he gave me his old stereo and a bunch of his cool gear, including a guitar amp and a bass guitar. But he gave me a turntable and receiver and some cool speakers. But I'm not sure what kind of turntable it is. But I usually have that hooked up in my living room, and then I have this one here just for the music room. Wild Rags was a record store in Montebello, California, but the owner had a label called Wild Rags. I get it. Okay. Didn't know that, man. Crazy. Audio Technics. Okay, I've heard of that one. How's Jet Dog? Jet Dog hates the rain. Yeah, she's not a water dog. She hates rain. She hates getting baths. She needs one, though, but she's right here, man. Let's see if we can zoom in on Jet Dog here. Let's find her. Where's Jetty? There she is. Jet Dog laying on the futon. Hey, Jetty. Oh, they're looking at you, Jet. She's never far away, man, that dog. She will definitely follow me everywhere I go. Now I got my camera towards. Whoa, it's funky, man. Okay, let's leave it at some weird angle like this. See if it falls over or sticks that way. There you go. Crazy, man. Crazy. So I can hold my album this way now. Dark Days Unfazed. It's on digital. You can go hop online and hear it on YouTube if you want to hear it for free. Yeah, Jet Dog rules. She turned 11 October 1st. You can't go wrong with the Technics SL1200 turntable. That's what Nick is saying. He probably knows way better than I do, man. I don't know much about stereo stuff, believe it or not. I love the music, but I don't know much about any of the technology or like the stereos or anything. I'm not a musician. I don't play any instruments. So what else? Anybody going to any good concerts coming up, man? Huh? I know when I go up to Portland, I always go to shows. I never know what I'm going to see, but Portland has so many killer shows. I guarantee I'll be seeing some music in the next few days or so. Anybody got anything you're going to? Local, national acts? Do I like my new area? Yeah, man. It's right here in the middle of the mountains. If you walk around in 360 degrees, it's just like Is it 360 or 380? I was burning a couple before I did my YouTube today, man. Anyway, you can walk in a big circle and all you see is mountains all around. And if you walk out our front door and keep walking straight, you'll end up in the river. It's that close. So, and the Rogue River has never flooded. Just FYI. You missed seeing the Obsessed on their last tour. Yeah, so my new neighborhood's like a very rural. It's a town of 1,300 people, 1,300 or yeah, 1,330 or something like that. Gold Hill, Oregon. It's an old gold mining town, man, and it's like 30 minutes north of where we were living in Ashland, Oregon. So what else did I want to show you guys? Shout out again, once again, to Jam Screen Printing for my t-shirts, man. They're pretty badass shirts, man. Andrew sent over this little cartoon character of me singing. I thought, I've had like dozens of people in the last couple of years say, "Hey, do you have any t-shirts?" And I'm like, "No." And then so my daughter Audrey said, "Why don't you have t-shirts?" And I'm like, "That is a stupid thing, huh?" She goes, "Yeah, man, that's how most musicians are making their money, is with merch. Because if you're not touring regularly, what are you going to do to make money off your stuff? Because we all know as musicians, you don't make jack off streaming media. You just don't. It used to be real easy to make money on YouTube. Now producers have to work twice as hard to make the same amount of money on YouTube. And also, if you have stuff on Spotify or any of the digital platforms, any of them, it just doesn't pay like you think it does. It's not like a regular income. So the only way musicians are making money is by going on the road and playing live and getting paid for that and selling merch there, or they're just selling merch and not playing live and offering their stuff on the internet like I do. Dark Days Unfazed. It's on the net for free for those of you that don't want to buy it or you can't buy it, whatever. I urge you to check it out, man. Go check out Bloody F Mess. Check out a song called Skies Are Black. That's a good one on the new album, which was done with my good friend Dave Moe, who played on about half the album and played guitar, bass, and drums on about half the album. Hey, what's up? Dylan Gutter Snipe is in the house. New Zealand. What's up, man? Good friend of mine, Dylan. Hope you're doing good, brother. Larry Chronic Jr. Do I have a metal detector for the gold? No, but I can guarantee you there's some gold in them Nar Hills. I guarantee it, man. Maybe not so much right around here, because I think after the big gold mining boom back in the like late 1800s here, I think they probably tapped it. But in other parts of the areas where they didn't like go to town like looking for it, it's probably everywhere. Atomic Crypt Video says, "What's up, Bloody? Dig your videos. How do you monetize your videos in general?" They're just under general monetization. Sometimes I don't have monetization. Like if I do a video about a certain, like if I even say the name of a certain shock rocker out there, you guys knew who I'm talking about, and his name starts with two letters that you say, and it rhymes with it rhymes with BG, right? But the thing is, if I even say that guy's name, I get demonetized. I even did a video about another shock rocker that was supposedly hit off by somebody that Courtney Love paid and all this stuff. And if I even put a video out about that guy, no monetization. It's crazy, the rules. So the other day I looked it up on YouTube. I'm like, can I cuss on YouTube? And it says, as long as you don't cuss in the first like 7 seconds or 2 minutes or some weird deal. And then it says you can cuss moderately, but if you do it a lot, then they demonetize you or they limit your ads. It's really tripped out. I never thought I'd live in a world where I have to like be so censored. And it gets worse every day in this world, man. The whole world's becoming that way. My friends in England are telling me that people are getting knocks on doors. Like if you post on Facebook your opinion about the country, just a simple opinion, not a threat, they come knocking on your door and they take your ass to jail, or you'll get a fine or a big warning. But they're harassing people left and right all over the world, man, for a fact, because I've got friends in like 15 freaking countries and they're all telling me, dude, you got to watch what you say these days. I'm like, what's going on with that? But if you're going to do social media or YouTube, you got to like either decide to go with the flow or not. I see some producers do exactly what they want and say exactly what they want. And I got to give my respects to those people, because they probably just don't give a damn about whether they're going to get demonetized or not. Me, I try to make a living doing music, and like we were saying earlier, unless you're doing merch or playing live or doing some kind of social media like this kind of stuff, it's just hard to make money. So I make it in a lot of little ways that adds up enough to me to pay my bills and my rent without having to go, work for the man, which I've done all my life, trust me. But I've been avoiding it for probably 13, 15 years, just solely off music and stuff. And it's not easy, man. But I've worked for some farms out here in Oregon too, doing some stuff, trimming, things like that. Got a Fisher metal detector. Yeah, I need to get a metal detector, man. Did I ever hang out with Waddy? He wants to know. Yeah, absolutely, man. Waddy was on tour, The Exploited, with my band, my buddy's band 1096. They went on tour together, like a little mini tour, like a few gigs. And it was just 1096 from Kenosha, Wisconsin, Waddy and his band, The Exploited from Scotland, and myself. And it was The Exploited in their van, me in the 1096 van, and we would the stories are awesome. The shows were off the hook crazy. I remember Waddy being so high on speed because he always was, at least back in the day, on that stuff. And he was so high, my buddy Dean goes, "Look, bloody, look at Waddy." And Waddy was over there simultaneously playing a game of pool with one guy and keeping a game of darts going with a completely different guy at the same time. It was insane, man. That was a trippy little tour. So yeah, I've hung out with Waddy more than a few times. Welcome to 1984. Knock, knock on your front door. Are you ready for the secret police? They'll jail you and your uncool niece. I'm sorry, I'm trying to read some of your... My mouth is too big. That's why I don't have a YouTube channel, Cassie says. Ha ha, my mouth is too big and I still have one. Ba-dum. Any Motorhead stories? Yeah, man, there's some Motorhead stories on my YouTube channel. There's at least a couple. When I saw Motorhead open up for Ozzy, The Blizzard of Oz with Randy Rhoads on guitar, that story is on the channel. If you go to the video section on Bloody F Mess Official, and then there's another Motorhead story or two, maybe. I think. I'm pretty sure because I've had plenty of Motorhead experiences. I did meet Lemmy at the House of Blues in Chicago in probably 2004, 5, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't know. I'm guessing something like maybe 2002 or 3 or 4. My memory's hazy, man. But it was cool because we were watching Nashville Pussy open for the Motorhead, and my friend Aida was backstage, and she sees me. She's like, "Bloody, come here, man!" And Aida used to perform on stage with us when we did theatrical stuff. She would be like a girl on stage, like whipping certain people on stage. We used to have a theatrical band, The Veins, and we'd do some pretty wild stuff. And Aida says to Tracy, "Hey, I can get you backstage," but Lemmy says no guys are allowed back here. So he had like a rule that was no guys allowed back at the House of Blues backstage. But any chicks it was cool. So I just hung out in the bar, and pretty soon Lemmy came walking through the bar, and that's when I got to say hi to Lemmy. So anybody else got any cool Lemmy stories? Anybody run into Lemmy? I've been at the Rainbow in LA many times, and he was there playing like the video machine, and I didn't know there was a separate room that he was in doing that. And we were kind of looking for Lemmy, but we didn't look at the right place. So to this day, I kick myself going, man, I've been there like 3 times when he was there, not knowing he was around the corner, and I could have said hello, but oh well. Yeah, Motorhead does rock, man. Motorhead rules. I started listening to those guys probably about 1980. Who was the bigger speed freak, Lemmy or Waddy? Probably Lemmy, because I think he did it till the end, and then I think he might have gotten sober the last 6 months or less of his life. I think he got kind of sober, and that's when his health started declining. And they usually say that people that use drugs like that, and they use them for decades and decades and decades, like Johnny Winter, I can name a lot of people, and then they all of a sudden get sober. Your body chemistry doesn't react so well, and most people don't kind of live through that too much longer. It's better almost, they say, for people like Lemmy, which is rare, not many people like him. It's better for people like him to just keep doing what they're doing because, but when he got his cancers and stuff, he had to take certain medications and treatments. So I think it forced him to get sober. And that combined with all the sickness, it took him out quick, man. Now, Johnny Winter, same thing, man. He was using using smack, geez, man, since the 60s. And in 2000, I think 9, I believe, I went to see Johnny Winter and he was sitting down on stage performing, albeit he was still absolutely phenomenal. But when the show was over, I thought I wanted to say hello to him, because I knew he wasn't doing well health wise. But he really was great at the Peoria Riverfront. Johnny Winter sitting down, and I remember going up to him, going up to the tent where he was at, and his dudes, his band, all came over to me. Hey, what's up, bro? And they could tell by the way I dressed that I was an old school fan, and they were all cool, signed my program, all that. And I said, "What about Johnny, man? Is he gonna come over?" And then he says, "Look, dude," his bass player says, "Bro, just to be honest with you, Johnny just got off the smack, and he's been on it since like the '60s. So his body's not reacting well to being sober and all that, and he's also sick on top of it." So it was sad, man. I'm not sure what led me into talking about this sad stuff, but I guess they're just stories that came to my mind when you asked me about Lemmy and Waddy and the bigger speed freak, because I think Waddy's had like 7 heart attacks in the last 3 years, and the guy keeps just go back on stage days later. But I don't think he's on it these days. Doesn't appear like it. At least on his Instagram videos, he doesn't appear to be, stoned out on speed. Oh yeah, Amel and the Sniffers. I love them. I play them a lot on my radio show. Awesome. You got tickets to see Amel and the Sniffers, Dylan? Killer over in New Zealand even. I have never been to New Zealand, but I have many friends there, including you, bro. Yeah, Amel and the Sniffers are great. I was just talking about last night how back in the day, they sound like a lot of punk rock bands from back in the day, albeit they're original. They have their own thing going for sure. But they sound like a lot of the bands that back in the late 70s, early 80s, that back then were just considered, oh, punk rock, punk rock. And now these guys are like getting kind of known on a national, almost commercial level and accepted. And it's interesting to see how punk rock has come around in a big full circle, the sound. Because like I tell a lot of my friends that say, oh, I'm not really into punk rock, I'm like, that's like saying you're not into rock and roll, because there are so many genres of rock and roll that it's not even funny. Blues rock, surf rock, southern rock and roll, hard rock, psychedelic rock, folk rock. You could go on all day, man. Classic rock. And then the same with punk rock. There's so many genres of punk rock. You've got like a punkabilly, like rockabilly mix thing with punk rock. You've got your death punk. You've got hardcore punk. You've got emo punk. You've got 70s punk. You've got more new wave punk. You've got, the thing is that it's just been more accepted these days, and I'm glad, because it's just more rock and roll, man. Never met Lemmy, but got to hang with Nashville. Awesome, Mike. There's a lot of punk rock coming out of Australia. Shout out to the Saints, one of the old school, actually, I think considered one of the first punk rock bands ever, next to the Ramones, is the Saints out of Australia. So yeah, man, that's cool. Dylan, what's it like over in New Zealand right now, man? Is it freezing cold like it is over here in Oregon? Cold and rainy? Oh, Gene Perfect is in the house. He's going to see The Damned. With the adverts in a few months? Dude, really? That's going to be killer. Gene Perfect, of course, Sockeye Steelhead on YouTube. Sockeye Steelhead. Gene Perfect, he used to play bass for Gigi Allen and the Texas you-know-whats. And also the Texas, what was the other one, Gene? The Slime Buckets? Remind me. Any rock and roll is better than Taylor Swift. Da-dun, da-dun, yeah. I've never heard a single song by her. Couldn't tell you what she sounds like. I wouldn't even know if you played her for me, honest to God. You're nearly in summer, but it's still raining over there in New Plymouth, New Zealand. Awesome. Dylan Guttersnipe in the house. What's up, brother? Ty Smith played LA TV Smith played LA about a year ago. Nice, man. Yeah, the damned rule. My daughter Audrey actually got to meet the Damned, I guess maybe a few months ago up in Portland. All of a sudden she sends over these photos and I'm like, oh, is that you with Captain Sensible or whatever? And the next one, is that you with Rat Scabies? Wait, is that you with Dave Vanian? And she like met all the Damned and sent over photos one at a time with them. I'm like, that is so freaking cool. Okay, Gene Perfect in the house. He also played bass guitar with Gigi Allen and the San Antonio Slime Buckets. Yep, both one-off gigs, but Gene Perfect is a legend, man. Yeah, Sockeye Steelhead. Go to his YouTube channel, Sockeye Steelhead. You know, like sockeye like the fish, steelhead like the fish. Taylor Swift is painfully bland, says Funk Dat. You know what? What I have heard, I can't really disagree. What shows am I looking forward to? You know what? Michael Monroe. I got tickets to see Michael Monroe at the Whiskey A Go-Go in LA in April. It's his first gigs in the United States in like 9 years. I'm stoked. Sammy Yaffa from Hanoi Rocks is on bass. You know, we got Steve Conti on guitar, who's also in the revised New York Dolls, whatever. And, you know, it's going to be great, man, because he's only doing 3 dates. And the East Coast people aren't very happy with Michael because he's only doing 3 gigs in Cali. So I'm guessing somebody put up some money to get him out here, which is super brilliant because he's doing the Whiskey A Go-Go, which is only holding 500 people. And we got 3 tickets. I'm like, yes. So thanks to Audreezy out there for hooking us up with Michael Monroe tickets. And he's doing a free show at the Rainbow Bar and Grill. It's the 53rd anniversary celebration. And they got like Black Oak, Arkansas. I think it's LA Guns or Faster Pussycat, one of the two. And Michael Monroe and like 3 other bands playing out this big stage that they're setting up in the back of the Rainbow parking lot. And that's going to be free the day after the whiskey show. So we're going to attend that as well. And that's going to be sick because we're definitely going to try to meet Michael Monroe and Jim Dandy from Black Oak, Arkansas. I got to meet Jim Dandy finally. God, after all these years. I did interview Harvey Jett, though, from Black Oak, Arkansas, the original guitarist. And that's on my other channel, The Church of Rock, which is all one word, The Church of Rock, Harvey Jett interview. Rest in peace, Harvey Jett. Do I have any stories about seeing any of the early 80s thrash bands back in the day? Yeah, man, most of the ones that I've, well, not most, but a lot of them are on this channel. If you go to the video section and just scroll down, you'll see me talking about a lot of that stuff. But there's a lot more because I started out in thrash punk. You know, I was in a band called Chips Patrol back in 1983. And then we turned into a band called The Unaccepted, which was all super hardcore punk thrash. And then after that became Bloody Mess and Hate, which was like a nihilistic band that pretty much existed just to be an anti-band. And then after that, I think it was Bloody Mess and the Scabs, which wasn't much different. It was another band that was out there just to get banned from clubs and have fun and just wreak havoc. Mr. Goodfoot remembers those days. Remember those Club Peorian shows, bro? But yeah, man, for years and years, I was just like an anti-artist, you know, and then one day I started doing country music, and then it led into like kind of serious rock and roll, like hard rock, and then back to punk rock, and it just kept going and going and going, and till finally, Dark Days Unfazed. Thrash metal. Yeah, man, Exodus, Slayer, Venom, you know, I was there for all those shows back in the day, you know, in Chicago in the early 80s, and I was into all that stuff, dude. Yeah, DRI, before they turned metal, they were totally punk, but they became kind of crossover. E-Trope was a great one out of Chicago back in the day. So awesome that you're going to see Michael Monroe. I'm really hoping to find some way to make it to one of my Midwest shows. Yeah, man. Super 88 is the band that's going to be playing with me and also backing me up for a couple dates in the Midwest. Shout out to Super 88. I'm not really officially announcing this or anything. Ragged Records is the one going to be making the announcement about these gigs. And they've asked me to shut my mouth. You need to get my record. Well, all you got to do is email me, brother. Well, heck, Dylan, you know how to get a hold of me, dude. Hit me up, bro. We'll figure it out. I got to figure out what it costs to ship to New Zealand. I know it's not cheap because I just sent one to Denmark, and it was like, holy hell. It was like 30 or 40 bucks just to mail it. He like Cyanide from Chicago and also Master from Chicago. I've never heard of those guys, but they sound cool. Oh, Alabaster's going to see Michael in Las Vegas. That's right, man. He's doing the 2 Cali shows and he's doing Vegas. That's right. 3 shows. So you're going to see him too. That's great, man. I've been dying to see Michael Monroe, man. Definitely the best kept secret in rock and roll. Goes by the name of Michael Monroe. And I've got a song on my album right there called Michael Monroe, which is a tribute to Michael. And guess what? I don't think I've told this story, But I sent that song over to a certain person who is a kind of a famous author. I'm not going to say any names because I was asked not to put this on social media. So I'm going to go step around it so I don't get looked upon as an a-hole. But I sent this to a person that wrote a book about a famous rocker who's now deceased. That author is friends with Michael Monroe. And she says to me, hey, you want me to send your new song over to Michael? I said, man, would you? She said, yeah. She says, and I'll let you know what he says, but just don't put it on social media. I'm like, of course I wouldn't do that. So, and I'm not, but I mean, I saw the official response from him and it was good. He said that somebody else had already sent him the song. He appreciated it and it was very cool. And that was good enough for me, man. I know Michael has heard the song, and I know that he, if he didn't like it, I don't think he would say he did. He's not that kind of cat. So, yeah, it was cool. Dave Moe played all the music on the song Michael Monroe, guitar, bass, drums, and that song is on YouTube under Bloody F Mess Michael Monroe if you want to hear that song when this live is over. I probably won't stay on here for more than about another 20 minutes. Just wanted to check in with you guys. The Vanes still has a cult following. Well, you know what? Thank you, Nick. The Vanes was the band that had a song that got radio airplay. My Black Little Heart was getting airplay on 17 radio stations across the nation in 1999 and 2000. And in Peoria, Illinois, it was in regular rotation on Rock 106 WWCT, which was a huge channel. You could get it from between St. Louis and Chicago pretty clearly if you had a good enough antenna on your car. It was a very big station. So My Black Little Heart's another song and music video that you can check out on my other channel, The Church of Rock, all one word. Please subscribe there too. But you type in Bloody Mess, My Black Little Heart, but it's really Bloody in the Veins. And I think I'm going to go through and retitle that one on that video so my friends in the Veins don't think that I was being vain. But truth is, my buddy put that out, and that's what it was called when it came out. It just said Bloody Mess, Black Little Heart, but it should say Bloody Mess in the Veins, My Black Little Heart. That's the full title. So that band did have a cult following, or maybe does still, but the radio airplay helped. Mr. Goodfoot commenting about me and talking about Bloody Mess and the Scabs earlier. I think, yeah. Cassie says, my most favorite song, My Black Little Heart. Thank you, because you're in Illinois, and you used to hear it on that Rock 106 when it was playing on the radio. That was cool, man. I remember when the Vanes played with Nazareth in Peoria once at the Infirmary in downtown Peoria, and I ended up getting kicked out of my own show. We got to open up and everything, but later on, I got drunk as a skunk, and I'm probably going to skip the details to protect the guilty. But yeah, man, I was off the charts. What happened was I got pretty drunk though, and I kept telling, I think it was Daryl, one of the guys in the band, one of the original members. I kept saying, "Hey, man," I walked up to him, "Hey, man, my name's Bloody. I'm the singer for the opening act." And he's like, "Oh yeah, nice to meet you, mate." Because they're from Scotland, and you gotta understand, I grew up listening to Nazareth from like age 7, 8 on. Like I love Nazareth. And I couldn't believe I was opening for them. It was a big honor. And so I got drunker and forgot that I had already walked up to that guy and said, "Hey, I'm the singer for the opening act," right? Like, big deal, dude, right? But I did it again. And the guy was kind of like laughing, like, "Yeah, you already told me that." And this is what my buddy told me later, because I don't remember any of this stuff. And then I guess a little later, maybe an hour later, I was drinking shots and just getting tanked. And I walked up to the guy a third time. And I guess he blew a gasket and he got super pissed off, totally told the security to get me the hell out of there, that I was driving him nuts and I wouldn't quit saying the same thing over and over. And then we also got popped that night videotaping, because there was no videotaping allowed, but we wanted to get some video footage of Nazareth. And I had an old school camera that was real small, but you could see it. And they came over and said, "Hey, stop filming." And we did it again and they caught us again. And then, then after that, there was some stuff that went down later that I just can't talk about. But believe me, it was crazy stuff. And if I had a book, I probably still wouldn't put it in there. But I got thrown out that night, and the security guards were just like, "Get the hell out of here, dude. You're just a bloody mess." You roadied that show with me, Mr. Goodfoot, Nazareth. And that's right, man. I don't think you were around when the festivities happened when I got booted out later, though, dude, because I hung out real late. You might have been, but yeah, there's some stuff that went down. Nothing like immoral or nothing unethical. Well, maybe kind of unethical. You have all of Nazareth autographs? I don't think I have any Nazareth autographs. Don't believe I do. Yeah, I don't think so. That's cool, bro. Because you know they've lost. Gosh, Daryl Sweet, the drummer, died like 3 weeks after we played with them that time in Peoria. And then they lost. Didn't we lose another guy from Nazareth not too long ago too? I think so, man. I can't remember because we do that rock and roll resurrection on the Church of Rock radio show every week whenever anybody dies, and I'm pretty sure we did a tribute to another guy from Nazareth. Cheers. Thanks for being here, you guys. Just a mellow hangout, man. Dan McCaffrey, what a dude. Yeah, he was at the show when we played with him. Johnny Ramone story. Johnny Ramone, well, here's the deal. I didn't want to tell the Johnny Ramone. There's a couple of Johnny Ramone stories. One about meeting him in New York City. That's actually on my channel if you go down my video list. But there's another one where I went to his apartment, but he wasn't there. He was on tour. And then I found out recently that he was actually married at the time, but he had still was kind of seeing his ex, Roxy Ramone, who I interviewed on my other channel, The Church of Rock. You can find my interview with Dee Dee Ramone's ex-wife, Vera, and also Monty Melnick, the Ramones manager as well, on my other channel, if you're a Ramones fan, and a couple of interviews with Richie Ramone too. But Roxy Ramone, I went to her apartment. I was like 18, 1985. I had a big old black mohawk. I'm dressed head to toe in leather. I'm with my friend who's all in white face makeup and all black clothing. Big spiked hair. He's from the Philippines, I believe. And he was a death rock, gothic rock dude, and I was a hardcore punk rock dude. Well, he goes, hey, do you want to go to my friend Cindy's apartment? And I go, sure. So we go to Cindy's apartment. He goes, by the way, this is Johnny Ramone's apartment too. This is his girlfriend. I'm like, we're going to Johnny Ramone's apartment? And so I didn't really want to put out a YouTube video about this because I found out he was married to Linda, who, you know, runs, pretty much has half the Ramones, I think Legal Empire is in her name. And I believe the other half is in Joey Ramone's brother's name, Mickey. I think so, if I got that right. So I didn't feel right putting out a YouTube story talking about going to Johnny Ramone's apartment when he was literally living in New York City with his wife then. And I'm pretty sure that if I did, it could upset her. So I thought I better not do a story. I don't want to really, I really don't want to hurt anybody with these stories. But I did go to Cindy's apartment and she knows about this. And when we knocked on the door, some chick opens the door with long blonde hair and she's on the floor and she's completely strung out on smack and just completely out of it. And I'm like, holy hell, I had never seen anybody in that state in my life at that point. And she lets us in and we sit down and it's just wall to wall with these huge, like, movie posters, baseball memorabilia, because Johnny Ramone was a huge baseball fanatic. And so everywhere you looked, it was just Johnny Ramone's collection on all the walls. There was like a big Rolodex thing with all these photos on this table. I was sitting on this chair, on this like couch kind of thing. And there was all these photos that I was flipping through. And my buddy Kent was like, check out these photos, bloody. And it was like pictures of the Ramones with like Sid and Nancy, like the actual photos, not copies. The Ramones in like Australia holding koala bears, the Ramones in New York City, CBGBs, the Ramones with Iggy Pop, and just like, holy hell. And it was like tons of photos of Johnny Ramone with all these different people. And it was really cool to go to Johnny's apartment. But like I say, later when I read some books about the Ramones and the one that Roxy Ramone put out recently, it talks about how Johnny kind of was going back and forth to see her while he was still married. So just in respect to Linda Ramone, I didn't want to put out a full-fledged story about that just in case she might come out and say that's not true or, you know, whatever. It might hurt her feelings. But that's the story. I just said it. Favorite mentor? No, the story didn't get omitted from a book. I decided long ago that I was not going to write a book. So I just put out these YouTube videos are my book. Each story I tell is like something that I would have in my book if I had one. So that's what it is. Like there's like different concert stories, personal stories, radio station stories, band stories, but a lot of music stories because I know people can relate to the concert stuff. But yeah, my favorite mentor song. Oh gosh. My band was supposed to be on the Mentors tribute album, and they got a hold of me and asked me to be on it. And I said, "What's it going to be called?" And they said, "It's going to be called a tribute to R.A. blank E Rock." Fill in the word. You know, if you know the Mentors, you know what I mean. And I refused to be on the album because they were going to call it that, a tribute to Ray Rock. I'm not going to say the word on here, but yeah, I like them because I know they're a tongue-in-cheek band. But if they were going to call their album that, I was like, no thanks. But my favorite Mentor song would probably be, oh my God, SFCC. Or, geez, I don't know. There's so many crazy, good, funny songs by the Mentors. You know, some people don't like them at all because they think they're serious and like, oh, these guys are sexist creeps and they're this and that. But I mean, I guess they were in a way, but I don't think so. A lot of it's just tongue in cheek. And I know all those guys. I was supposed to start a super group with Siki Whitebeater from the Mentors, Eric. Eric and I were going to start a band, but he lives in Indiana and I live in Oregon. And when he came here a couple of times and I opened up for him with my other band, the Rock Circus, we were going to start a band with he and I and two other people from two other bands that are kind of known, but it just logistics wouldn't have allowed for any rehearsal. So I don't know, man. I don't really know what my favorite Mentor song is. Really, there's so many, man. Can I even say any Mentors titles on YouTube? You love that story about my Halloween live broadcast from the cemetery in Peoria. Thanks, man. Favorite? That was a funny story because it was true, and I got more radio station stories too. I got to do the one about Reverend Moody's ice cream social. That was a good one. Unless I already did it. I don't think I did, but that was a couple lawsuits in one. What was it like being on the Phil Donahue show? It was crazy to come home from school and see you on that day. Any funny stories? Was Donahue a dick? Nope. Phil Donahue was super cool, nice as hell. Um, They did the other guests on the show didn't want me in the green room they were in, so they gave me my own green room, which I was with somebody from the record label, and we from Rhode Island who flew down there or drove down, and we had our own dressing room slash green room. And when we opened the door, on the outside of the door there was a star and it said Chris Farley. Well, we were just like a hallway away from the Saturday Night Live set, so we could walk down and like look at the Saturday Night Live set. And we were in Chris Farley's actual dressing room the night I was on the Phil Donahue show, or the day. It was during the day. Well, while we were in there, they brought this big old plate of food, like great munchies and drinks and snacks. It was awesome. And the guy from the record label I was with had, I don't know how he had a bobby pin, but it was something like a bobby pin shaped thing. And he picked open the little lock that was in there, like a little cubby with a lock. And just out of boredom, we picked it open, and it was Chris Farley's script from Saturday Night Live. And it was like this thick, man. And I was looking through it, and it said, "This week guest Pearl Jam," and all this. And it was the whole script for the entire cast. So us being kind of deviant at the time and kind of rambunctious, we decided to take the script, but we left Chris Farley a note apologizing, and I left him some Bloody Mess in the Scab CDs and cassette tapes in return for the script, knowing that NBC could probably give him another script. And damn, that script burned in those 2020 fires and the Alameda fires, because all my stuff was in a storage unit, 2 storage units. And I lost that script, but I had it for years, man. But anyway, so we're in Chris Farley's dressing room. We're eating out of this great deli tray, being treated like kings. And we get the script. We put the Bloody Mess and tapes down there and the CDs, lock it up. And then Phil comes in and takes pictures with me. "Hey, what's up?" He's like, "Can I call you a Bloody?" And I'm like, "Sure," instead of Mr. Mess. Or he said that on the show, actually. "Mr. Bloody Mess, can I call you Bloody?" I'm like, "Sure do, please." But yeah, he was a nice guy. Man, you guys, I had freaking insomnia last night. Really, I've had, that's one of my only health issues is insomnia. I've had worse health issues in the past, but I've escaped those self-made prisons. But the insomnia is something that even on sleep medication, sometimes I just have it. And last night was one of those nights. I was supposed to go to the chiropractor today, and I called at like 6:30 in the morning and canceled. I'm like, nope, I can't make it, man. I'm going to be exhausted. I can't even fathom driving that far because I live out in the sticks now, which is great, but it's a cruise. So I didn't get a whole lot of sleep, man. I hope you guys did. Lucifer Sam, so young cat, always sitting by your side, always by your side. That cat's something I can't explain. Top 5 all-time records in 20 seconds. Come on, Steve. Don't do that to me, bot, dude. I have really a hard time naming my top 50 in like in an hour. Okay, I'll name some of them though. The Dead Boys, Young, Loud, and Snotty. Iggy Pop and the Stooges, Raw Power. Johnny Cash, Sun Sessions. Tiny Tim's second album. The Plasmatics, Coup d'etat. The Cramps, songs The Lord Taught Us. God, I could go on all day, man. The Ramones, Too Tough to Die. Michael Monroe's I Live Too Fast to Die Young, believe it or not, one of his newest, one of the best ones he's ever done in my book. The entire Hanoi Rocks catalog. Now you're getting me. I'm nerding out on you, man. Led Zeppelin, gosh, which Led Zeppelin 3. The entire Jimi Hendrix catalog. Pink Floyd's first album, Piper at the Gates of Dawn. And Animals, Pink Floyd Animals. Motorhead, Ace of Spades. The Doors, LA Woman. That Tiny Tim on your channel is another favorite. I think there's a couple Tiny Tim stories on my other channel, and I think I might have another 1 or 2 to tell. But there's, I think, 2 on there now, I think. Sonic Reducer ain't no loser. That's right, man. Did I ever see Sabbath with Dio? Oh, I did not, man. I did not. I wanted to go to that Black and Blue tour when Dio was with Sabbath and Blue Oyster Cult toured with them. Yeah, man. I had that on DVD for a while, but I ended up selling it like I do everything I own. But yeah, that was a great tour. Dio with Sabbath was the bomb. Heaven and Hell, another one of my favorite records of all time. Love it, love it, love it. Is there any way I can hear that tribute you did for Dan and Horror Story on your show? I wish I could, bro. All our stuff is only stored in these archives for a couple of weeks. And then after that, unless I know the specific date, I'd have to go back in the archives and try to find that date. And then you'd get the entire 2 hours too. I wouldn't even know how to edit it. So anytime I do a radio show, which is all FM radio in the States, it goes on to an archive for 2 weeks called Spinatron. And you can go there and hear it for 2 weeks. But we always take the interviews we do and we put those on my other YouTube channel, which is called The Church of Rock. So that's where all my other YouTube channels, videos are at. All the interviews I've done over the years. There's interviews I've done with like Wendy O. Williams from the Plasmatics, Ron Ashton from the Stooges, like Cheetah Chrome from the Dead Boys, Doyle from the Misfits, just tons and tons and tons of people, man. Gary Richrath from REO Speedwagon, guys from Blackfoot, just, if you go to the Church of Rock, it's all one word, and subscribe there, you'll find at least 1,000 videos and probably hundreds and hundreds of interviews that I've done for the last, well, I started doing interviews back in the early 80s, mid 80s, when I was doing interviews on a cassette tape for fanzines. So those are included. And that's why there's so much stuff. There's like 40 years of interviews I've done, and then 25 years of radio interviews too. It's crazy how time slips away. So yeah, you guys, thanks for being here tonight, man. I appreciate everyone showing up and hanging out even for a little while. I got a ton of videos I'm going to put up, including that new Impetigo video with me talking about recording with that band. Any word on the, oh, he's calling me out on the, what's it called? Oh, I'm sorry, the Patreon channel. The Patreon channel, I guess my apprehension is that I start the Patreon channel so I can put up all the stuff you can't put up on YouTube, because trust me, I've got stories that are like very sex, drugs, rock and roll, that whole thing, man, like adult stuff, like stuff that many of you may say, I'm unsubscribing, I don't want to hear this stuff. But I want to start a channel where the people that do have that prurient interest, people that do want to hear that dark stuff, because I'd like to get that off my chest and get these stories out there, but I can't put certain stuff on YouTube for many reasons. Okay. Monetization, people are sensitive. Some people are politically correct as hell, you know, and I'm not either of those things. I'm not easily shocked, but I'm not out here to shock people. But if I start a Patreon and put the word out that, hey, you consent to being shocked and you're going to hear stuff that you might not want to hear, I'm going to get people, but I'm afraid if I just start one right now, I'm going to have like 12 people and I'm going to make all this content for like 12 subscriptions a month. And I'm afraid that it's going to be a lot of work for very little return. So let me know what you think in the comments if you guys want me to do this Patreon, because I've got the stories. I do. People are asking me about all these different stories and I'm like, man, that's one I can't tell on YouTube. Take care to you too, Ken. Thanks for being here, man. Cassie wants to hear it. That's great. I got the show where Gabby kicked his drum kit over. You got the show on seat, really? Because that's something I don't think I have, man. That was the Grange Hall show. Oh wait, no, that you're talking about the Club Peorian show. Yeah, I've seen that. That's on YouTube, bro. That is on YouTube. Bloody Mess in this Cabs at the Club Peorian Gay Disco. 2 different shows are on YouTube. Actually, I think you filmed them, but you filmed one of them, BC, and then Steve Strait, my old crazy roommate, remember him? He filmed one of them too. So there's 2 of them on YouTube, and they're both pretty intense. Anyway, man, yeah, I'm probably gonna get out of here, you guys. Again, I just made some shirts, Bloody F Mess shirts. The images are awesome. Thank you to Andrew Goldfarb for doing those shirts for me. I did send out messages to a bunch of people earlier, like 75 people that ordered shirts from me. And whenever you guys feel cool to send over the payment, I'm going to send out the shirts in the next 2 weeks. And I'm going to zip them out as quick as I can, like the day I get them. So thank you for your support. I really appreciate you guys that are supporting like that. And I'm going to do round 2 on the shirts as soon as I get them. I'm going to post the image, and people, if you see them and you want one, just hit me up, man. I appreciate it. And if you do want a copy of Dark Days Unfazed, hit me up. I've got a few stack of vinyl left, and I've got maybe 25, 30 CDs left. Take care, Dylan. Mr. Goodfoot, good night to you. Thank you, Mr. Smidge or Mrs. Smidge. I never know, man. Thank you to all 18 people that are still here watching my funny face. I'm getting texted by somebody. I can see the top of my buddy Glenn Taylor is texting me. It keeps popping up and it says something, but it goes away real quick. What's up, Glenn? Rock on, bro. Good night, Mr. Floyd. Deacon Floyd up in Portlandia. Yeah, I'm heading up your way, bro, on Wednesday. Probably be up there 4 or 5 days or a week. I don't know, dude. But it'd be nice if I could see you. If not, see you in my dreams. Thanks, you guys, for being here, man. Good night to all of you. Cheers. Rock on. And stay healthy, stay safe, be real, and try not to let people censor what you say. Unless you have a YouTube channel, then you're screwed, I guess. Now, if I can figure out how to stop this thing, we'll see. I always have this issue when I sign off my live feeds. I look like an idiot for like a minute. And everyone's going, who doesn't know what he's doing? Happy Thanksgiving to you, Mr. BC, Mr. Goodfoot. I'm going to try to sign off, guys. Thanks again for being here at Bloody FS Official. Appreciate y'all. Now there's 2 more people popped on. I was just getting ready to leave. Now I'm going to have to show off this cool shirt again. I'll see you on the dark side of the moon.